Welcome in to the Local Gridiron on Roco Radio. Joe, Dexter, David Woods. It's our playoff projection show. We're bringing in the man, the myth, the legend, David Woods. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Hey, you ready to talk playoff football?
Hey, let's do it. Let's
It
do it.
gets right down to it. Our top stories. We'll start with taking a look at our playoff rankings and our pairings in the first round. So just two teams in Rockingham County qualifying for the playoffs. McMichael missing the beat by just a bit. Not getting in there in the top 32. A lot of that having to do with RPI. A lot of having that to do with conference positioning. We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit. But your top seed, the Reedsville Rams in the 2A West, as they finish the year 9-1, a big win over Moorhead last night. They'll take on Madison, who is 2-8 on the year, the number 32 seed, who they faced in the first round last year. For the Rockingham County Cougars, they finish out strong against Atkins at home on senior night on Friday. They go 7-3 on the season. They get the 18th seed. They'll travel to Lincolnton to take on the North Lincoln Knights, who are 6-4. David, we got the pairings in. Your initial thoughts?
I could not believe that McMichael did not make it, man. I mean, just like I talked about last night, I just don't think that, Walkertown is a bad loss. I mean, yeah, I know the record was 3-6, but to me, when you go down there and play, every game is going to be physical down there to me. And yeah, the showing against Andrews last night, yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but still, you're at a 500 record. Why would you not? But I know RPI and stuff like that in high school sports and high school, playoffs, that has a big factor in it. I understand.
All right, David, I need you to update me. Jeff says, where are you, Joe? This is as exciting as Wolfpack football.
That's what I was laughing at when I got on here. As soon as I seen it, I said, here we go.
So let's start by recapping action last night. We'll start with Rockingham County and Atkins, a 31-7 win for Rockingham County. They get the big win with 14 points in the second quarter, 10 in the third quarter, and their first quarter 7 points. And guess who did it? Guess who did it, David? I bet. I'll give you one guess.
I already know. The man, the myth, the legend, that Tim Tebow guy, Bryce Baker.
3-yard rushing touchdown. He also had a pass to Malik Bryant, and I believe another rushing touchdown in that game as well to lead the way against Atkins. And next up on the list also, we want to talk about this guy yesterday, what he did when you look at Al Lee, the record breaker yesterday, breaking the record all-time Reedsville passing yards, passing Javada Harden. Unbelievable accomplishment when you look at what he's able to do in his 3-year career as a varsity starter, also playing in his freshman year behind Kyle Penix. That's an unbelievable accomplishment.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. It's just like we were talking about earlier, talking about last night, against West Stokes, which was a big-time game, right then and there, I wanted to see, what Reedsville was going to bring to the table because they had been spitting and sputtering a little bit on the offensive side, which they had guys out, I understand. But, that game, for some reason, man, it clicked, and they have been steamrolling since then. Like, Al Lee, everybody's went off. So, hey, they're ready for the playoffs, man, as usual.
A tip of the cap. Well, it's not backwards, but we got to put it on. We got to do this the right way. Tip of the cap to Al Lee. When you look at what it takes for, and this is no knock on the Reedsville program, it's actually a compliment. The pressure that is put on the quarterback of that program, right?
Yeah.
Just knowing the winning tradition, knowing that he sets the tone of the tradition of the program and that he is the face of the program, that's a lot of pressure for a young man, a sophomore, to step in. And Ali did that as a sophomore, had an incredible season as a sophomore, leading them all the way in a chance against Shelby. They lose that game, but they bounce back the next year. Last year, they get to the state championship game. For Ali, what he's done for that program is – you don't solidify the Reedsville program, but what he does is cement it as their leader. And I think that's unbelievable just looking at it from the pressure standpoint beyond what takes place on the football field.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, you said it all in one right there, man. That's just the standard for Reedsville, I guess you could say, is like Alabama in football. I mean, they're expected to be there year in and year out, and that's just what they do, man. They build up from the lower school, like, I guess you could say, kind of like the Reedsville Bulldogs. I guess you could say they build up from there and go from middle school, go from high school, and every kid they start to know the playbook. And by the time they get to high school, they know what to do. They know what to expect. Know everything. So I mean, I give it to Reedsville, man. They have something in store. I mean, they're really good.
One last thing I'll say on the subject of Al Lee. Hey, college coaches, if you're listening, somehow you stumble on this video clip. Somehow,
Yeah.
He's breaking records. He's continuously done it. He's more consistent than you can ask for. Recruit the kid.
Does he not have any kind of?
He does, but he deserves more.
He does. He does. So where is he looking at now? Who's looking at him?
I believe Limestone has looked into him and maybe have offered. I can't remember off my head, but there's a couple that have looked at him, but he deserves more offers for sure.
You're absolutely right. With what we've seen all year long and what we've seen the past couple of years, and I coached against the kid. Yeah. Bring him in.
17-7 offense, just painful to watch for that NC State squad.
Oh boy. Don't worry.
All right, I'm going to give you one chance here to pot shot now. I can't get the CW. It tells you all you need to know about NC State football if they're on the CW.
Yeah, that's what the ACC signed up for. I mean, I don't understand the whole CW concept anyway. I mean, I feel like we should be on ESPN or something. But yeah, I don't know.
All right, let's take a closer look at the brackets. We'll start right here in the 2A. The number 1 overall seed, Reedsville, they'll remain at Community Stadium throughout the playoffs up to the state championship if they can advance that far. They'll take on Madison, the Patriots. We mentioned it, 2-8 on the season, 2-4 inside their conference. They've given up 341 points on the year. But looking at this bracket, and the next matchup could be really interesting. Number 16 West Stokes takes on number 17 Southwestern Randolph. We've seen both teams in that matchup. That, to me, David, is a matchup of two very similar teams.
Those two teams right there, they pretty much run the exact same thing almost to the T. And that is going to be that would be a fun matchup I would like to go to and watch, honestly, man, because that's going to be a physical football game. I would say the end score would probably be 17-14, something like that. So I think it would be a good one to watch.
Number 8, Brevard taking on number 25, Trinity. North Stanley at number 9 taking on TW Andrews. We talked about this last night on the broadcast. Corey McManus, number 2. You got to face him in the first round. That's not a nice greeting, even if you are the 9th seed.
No. With what we watched last night, man, oh my goodness. The kid is 5'8", 160 pounds, 4.3 speed. And I'm telling you, if he's behind that big offensive line and the shiftiness that he's got, oh my Lord. He's a dude. And he will take hits too. And he will give the punishment out of it. That's what I like about it.
He sure will. Next up, it's Monroe, number 5, taking on number 28, Bandies. Number 12, West Lincoln, taking on number 21, Chase. And Burns, who fell to Shelby last night, they get the number 13 seed. They'll host a team in Pine Lake Prep. Any thoughts on any of those games that you see in those brackets? I think that's a lot of good, common teams that will battle out each other for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the normal teams year in and year out, with Chase and Burns. I mean, Burns has always been pretty good. Chase has been a pretty good team. You got West Lincoln, and they've been pretty good. I mean, it's the normal teams that I've seen year in and year out. This back in Providence Grove, Randleman took a tough loss last night. They did. They lost. You got Shelby.
Number 4, Bunker Hill will take on number 29, East Rutherford. Number 3, Community School of Davidson taking on Lexington. East Surrey at Providence Grove, or hosting Providence Grove. Randleman drops all the way to that number 6 seed, like you mentioned. Just one loss on the season coming last night. They'll take on West Stanley, the number 27 seed. Number 11, Forest Hill sat in the RPI in the 2A West, up on the top for just a bit. And now at number 11, they'll take on number 22, Anson Shelby, as you mentioned, number 7. They take on number 26 Mount Pleasant. They'll meet up with the winner of North Surrey and Lincolnton if they can win that first round. You win against your rival Burns, things start coming together, things start feeling good. You get that number 7 seed. They might be a team to watch in the 2A West.
That's exactly right, man, because Shelby, they've always been tough. They've always been a tough squad to play, man. You would just have to see. It's going to be a good playoff run right here for everybody, really.
Question in the comments from Melita. How does a team at 2-8 get in the playoffs? Well, there's a couple situations. There's the RPI, right? But in this factor, I believe that Madison is in what's called a split conference, a 1A/2A conference, and they defeated the other team that's a 2A team in that conference most likely, and that's automatic qualifier as the conference winner into a playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like you need to bring in the bracket guy, Joe Lenardi, to explain everything when it comes to NCHS-AA playoff seeding. And to me, I don't know how you feel, and I don't want to get too political about it, but that just makes it too much.
To me, it really does, man, because just like you was talking about last night, all you really got to do is schedule your schedule as tough as possibly can be. You win 1 or 2 ball games, you're in just because of the RPI. It's crazy.
Let's take a look at the 3A West side of the bracket. We start at the top. Crest takes on Parkwood. Statesville taking on South Point. West Charlotte will take on Northeast Guilford. High Brighton hosting Tuscola. J.M. Robinson, North Davidson, Northwest Scabarus, and West Rowan. Eastern Guilford and Central Davidson. A good matchup in the middle of the bracket. Number 4, Dudley. Number 4, Dudley. Yes, I said number 4. Dudley takes on number 29, West Iredell. 4 seed? Are we sure about that?
How is that possible? They should be a 1 or 2 seed. I don't get that. How?
Number 3, West Henderson takes on number 30, Irwin. Number 14, Ledford takes on number 19, East Lincoln. Number 6, Oak Grove taking on number 27, Ashbrook. Number 11, Pisgah taking on number 22, North Henderson. Number 7, AC Reynolds will host number 26, North Gaston. Number 10, Kings Mountain will take on number 23, Smoky Mountain. Number 15, North Lincoln taking on number 18, Rockingham County. So the North Lincoln Knights at 6-4 will host Rockingham County, about 2 hours away from where the crows flies here in Stoneville, North Carolina, from my home. I'm not sure how to feel about the 18 seed. Part of me understands it. Part of me gets it. I was really hoping, though, that Cougar Pride would be able to host a playoff game.
And they were 2 spots off from hosting a home playoff game? Is that
just
right?
one spot? Yeah.
One spot. Okay, sorry. Man, I don't know. Hey, well, what we've seen so far out of Rockingham, dude, I think they're going to make a run, man. I really do.
You look at, we'll break it down a little bit further this week, but North Lincoln just taking a closer look at their football squad and looking at the numbers, 7-3 on the season.
Yeah.
You look at their schedule, West Lincoln, Lincolnton, East Rutherford, not teams that you can really compare with Rockingham County and see, hey, this is how they play. So it'll be an interesting matchup from the get-go.
Yeah, from what I'm looking at, let's see. We got a Hickory. They were 10-0, 3-7, 1-9. I mean, the schedule, it's kind of so-so, I guess you could say.
Hickory's one of those tougher teams that they faced. I believe Hickory going undefeated on the season. Yep, 10-0 and 7-0 inside conference. So, yep, we'll see how things match up. We'll take a look at the tape throughout the week and see what we can find from this North Lincoln squad. But at the right time for Rockingham County, they're starting to peak. The things are starting to come together, and most importantly, defensively, man, especially last week we watched him at Northeast Guilford. Our friends Tyler Lester as well as Chase Lemons got to watch them senior night against Atkins. It's coming together.
Yeah, everything is coming together, man. It's looking really good, honestly. First, y'all, you got to thank Bryce Baker, man. he's the one that gets the offense going. He gets everything started. I mean, it's Rockingham. I'm telling you, they're going to be a tough team to beat. They're going to be a tough one.
David Woods, head coach of the UNC Tar Heels.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
The question is, would you have beat Virginia? That's the question.
Oh, I would have beat Virginia. Yes. You got a big back in Omarion Hampton, and you don't run the dude. What are we doing? Come on. All right, I understand. We got Drake, but he was off the mark. Run the ball. What are you doing?
Uh-oh. David's starting to pound the hands. You know it's serious when the hands are moving.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was aggravated all night at that game.
Before we head out of here, let's talk about Reidsville, too, the number 1 overall seed in the 2A West. Just your overall thoughts on what they have in front of them, what you've seen from them at the end of the year, and what you've seen them progression-wise. I know we like to point to that West Stokes game as kind of a coming-out party. They get Deontay Neal back against Andrews. Everybody's starting to be healthy at the right time, and things are starting to click.
Yeah, it's just like I said, man. I mean, it just everything started clicking. I mean, the first couple of games with Reidsville, I was kind of worried a little bit. I mean, I shouldn't be worried because it's Reidsville, but you keep close games with Rockingham, then McMichael stayed with them for a little while, and I mean, once they traveled to West Stokes, I don't know what clicked, but it seemed like, hey, it was all full steam ahead after that. So I think they're primed and ready to go back to good old Chapel Hill.
We'll follow the playoffs here on Roco Radio. We'll have playoff coverage for you. We'll let you know if we'll be at both games. We're going to try and get to both games, but we do need your help. If you are somebody that is willing to sponsor our coverage, get a hold of me. Feel free to reach me at radiorockingham@gmail.com. You can also hit us on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Rockingham. Really affordable rates, doing audio-only playoff broadcasts for the playoffs. We'd love to have Chase and Tyler at a game and David and I at a game here to start things off at least and be able to bring that coverage. So the reason we need that support is because there are fees to broadcast those games. So if you'd like to support our coverage, feel free to reach out. And we already love our sponsors that have been able to support us throughout and that are willing to help us throughout the playoffs, because there's no more thrilling feeling, David, than to be able to be there in those key moments when these players are making plays and to be able to document them and bring them to folks. For me, the key is, I love the football. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to kid you and act like I don't love the football, but to hear the grandmom in Tennessee or the uncle that lives in Kentucky, or we've had family members from foreign exchange students in other countries listen in during broadcasts, to be able to provide that service, I mean, that means the world to me.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's been my first year broadcasting, man. It has been a fun ride being able to, we've had fans, we've had, parents come up to us in games, talk about, hey, we really appreciate you talking good about our son and this and that and the other. I've loved it. I've loved every minute of it, and I want to keep doing it for sure.
We're dedicated to the only thing bad being talked about is the NC State. The NC Tar Heels. I mean. It's our selection show. 2 teams in on the playoffs. We'll recap things before we head out of here. Here are your matchups for our local teams. In the first round, your local pairings in the NCHSAA 2A West and 3A West. In the 2A West, Madison at 2-8, the 32 seed, will head to Reidsville for the second straight year. It's the third year that they've matched up with Reidsville in the first round. The other year coming in 2016, Reidsville at 9-1, the number 1 overall seed in the NCHSAA 2A West. And in the 3A West, your Rockingham County Cougars at 7-3 will travel to Lincolnton to take on North Lincoln, who is also 7-3 on the season. Well, David, thanks for taking the time, stopping by and talking playoff football, and we'll be back throughout the week to talk more. We'll have a preview show. We'll try to get that done for you, and we'll be somewhere on Friday, so stay tuned at facebook.com/Radio Rockingham to find out where we'll be.
I'm going to tell you, before we go, buddy, I was looking at the and I know we don't have any Rockingham teams that's 1A, but come on,
Oh, boy.
Come on, man. Them dudes from Mount Airy, Why did they not get a number 1 seed?
Wait, they did not get a number 1 seed.
No, Tarboro did.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did. From what I looked at, didn't they?
Oh, my God. This cannot be true.
I'm telling you.
They gave up 22 points.
See? Look at that.
They gave up 22 points. And they did not.
Didn't they beat Tarboro last year for the state championship?
Yes, but
wow.
Hold up here. Where are they?
Mount Airy's at the very bottom. Very bottom.
Number 2 seed against Union Academy. I should just believe my partner, shouldn't I?
Are you serious, man?
See, that one's so hard to believe just because, like we mentioned, they gave up 22 points in the season.
And 7 shutouts. Come on, man. Are you serious?
Man. Wow.
All right, that's it. You know what? I'm gonna stick to broadcasting, but I'm going to these guys in Chapel Hill, which I know this is probably where it runs from, and I'm getting a job over there for the National High School Association. I'm tired of this.
Well, we do appreciate all that they do in making it possible, and we'd say this in jest. It's not an easy job to do.
No.
Like when the NCAA March Madness tournament comes out too, there's always a team that's missed that should have been in, and there's always this and that, and we can pontificate. Our heads are big. That's what we do.
That's what we do. That's what we do for sure.
Well, we want to thank you for tuning in to the Local Gridiron on Roadco Radio, and make sure you stay tuned to find out where we will be Friday night. 2 playoff football games in Rockingham County, across the Rockingham County area for Rockingham County fans. Have a good one. Have a great weekend. I won't say go Heels, but you can if you want to, David.
Go Heels, baby. Let's go. Y'all have a good evening.